In almost any zip code in America, you'll find a complicated mix of different ages, incomes, and lifestyles. But on a specific stretch of Florida's Gulf Coast, that diversity completely vanishes. This is Clearwater Beach, Florida. Specifically, the area contains strictly within zip code 33767. Market researchers have classified absolutely every household here, 100%, into a single demographic group called Silver and Gold. Nationally, this group makes up only 1% of households, yet inside these boundaries, they are the only people who exist. How does a single zip code end up completely monopolized by such a narrow demographic? And what exactly happens to a neighborhood when every single resident is essentially a mirror image of their neighbor? The consistency across thousands of households suggests this isn't a glitch in the census data. Instead, it reveals a community functioning as a nearly perfect socioeconomic monoculture. To understand who actually makes up the Silver and Gold segment, we have to examine the data directly, starting with the most obvious filter, age. This report shows the median resident here is 65.4 years old, placing the typical homeowner squarely at retirement age. This chart shows massive spikes in the upper demographics. Over half of the population is concentrated strictly in their 60s and 70s. At the top of that same chart, children and tweens combined account for less than 4% of the residents. While nearly 68% of the adults here are married, the census classifies the predominant household structure as married couples with 0 children living at home, and that creates a highly unusual environment. Without kids, the area completely lacks the infrastructure, noise, and culture that usually centers around schools. It operates as a family black hole. Keeping an entire coastal zip code this demographically pure requires a heavy gatekeeping mechanism. In 3367, that gate is entirely financial. The households here bring in a median income of over $116,000 a year, supported by a combination of retirement funds and high-level professional wages. The real barrier is accumulated wealth. The report shows a median net worth over $811,000, 3 times the U.S. median. This capital locks in an 87% homeownership rate, and with values exceeding $625,000, real estate acts as a strict demographic filter. These prices ensure that only established, wealthy retirees have the capital required to ever buy in, physically reinforcing the boundaries of the community. Yet, despite those price tags, a third of the homes here are classified as occasionally vacant. Many of these owners are snowbirds, retirees who migrate south for the winter and leave the neighborhood unusually quiet for long stretches of the year. But during normal business hours, that sleepy baseline population of 8,300 is completely eclipsed. The local daytime population suddenly balloons to almost 13,000 people. That massive influx of 4,500 extra people represents the daily commuters, the service workers, and the tourists who arrive every morning to physically operate the amenities this group relies on. It leaves the zip code with a strange dual identity. On the surface, it functions as a bustling public playground by day, masking the highly segregated retirement haven operating quietly underneath it all. When you piece all these demographics together, it becomes clear that 33767 is not an organically grown beach town. It is a highly curated socioeconomic ecosystem. The consumer data tracks exactly with the environment. The residents here are well insured. They drive high-end vehicles, and they spend their abundant free time birdwatching or out on the golf course. This concentration of wealth physically manifests on the landscape itself. Every square foot is impeccably organized, resulting in a pristine, perfectly uniform coastal environment. For the people who live inside this heavily insulated enclave, it represents the ultimate geographic realization of an affluent American retirement. In modern real estate, securing a massive net worth buys you a premium property, but more importantly, it buys you total insulation from broader demographic realities, securing a private neighborhood entirely populated by your exact peers.